Body horror for me is the concept of not knowing what is going on inside your body. That you're inside, you could be growing a tumor that you don't know about. That maybe there are cancer cells in you right now that are just kind of amassing. Or the idea that unbeknownst to you, you've had something implanted inside you and you have no clue what that thing is or what it's doing to you.
When I was 16, I went to Mexico, came back with a parasite, but didn't know I had one until I saw the ultrasound of it flicking. And so that's kind of some of the stuff that we're gonna do when Sarah finds it in her cheek, is see this little silhouette of a worm that kind of just has a little flicker.
That to me could drive you insane. It's a major source of paranoia, and it's what Sarah discovers, that this has actually been done to her.
I think that that idea of invasion has always kind of been part of the story and the themes of our story, whether it's sort of like your biology being tampered with without your knowledge, or this idea of the experiments that the clones undergo in their sleep while their monitors watch. That idea of like not having total ownership over your body and being invaded is like something that we've always kind of talked about, and it's a really fun, tense, sort of wrought subject matter. It's and very kind of visceral.
Last year, knowing that we've got to set up season 4, we wanted to introduce some Neolution tech that was very creepy and that we didn't understand. Its function last season was really to startle the audience and make them say, "What the hell was that?" This year, it's firmly part of the focus of the Neolutionists, is understanding what that thing does. It's partly organic, it's partly technology. So it's a kind of it's nanotechnology sort of encased in kind of an organic membrane.
We sort of started going down the route of looking at self-guiding needles and self-guiding medical instruments, and looking at parasitic worms that take over slugs, and so we started calling it bioworm. And then the writers, because it looks so much like a maggot, started calling it a maggot bot, and so that's what it is now called. We had maybe 20 different pieces of concept art. We had 2 concept artists working on it full-time for a few weeks, and they were just cranking out drawing after drawing after drawing.
And so there were a lot of versions where it sported metal on the outside of it.
And then at one point, it actually had this massive mechanical hinge in the middle of it, and this glowing blue eye, which we then sort of went, eh.
Yeah, it took a while. I mean, ultimately, the thing that was most interesting to us was a kind of some sort of metal infrastructure surrounded by some kind of growing tissue that allowed it to kind of look creepy and worm-like.
I mean, in medicine, they've used parasites forever, right? Maggots clean dead fish, leeches to act as natural blood thinners and anticoagulants.
Jeff, our special effects guy, he said you'll want some reference for what you might possibly be going to see. And so they had these, just little videos or clips of horrible sea worms and things that they had based the design on.
The inspiration for the maggot bots, have you seen it? It's this like worm thing that like pukes out its whole, I don't know, internal workings in this like splay. And like, I don't know why it exists. I don't know why that creature would exist, but Jeff based the maggot bots on this, so that when they are tampered with, they blow up in this horrible way and sort of destroy the person that they are inside. It's gross.
It's like an artery system in your cheek that actually works through like your whole neck and up towards your brain. So the whole thing is that if the maggot bots have access to that artery, they can essentially, kill you brain dead like that.
The body horror element, I think, that would just be scary. It would be like finding out that you have a a blocked blood vessel in your brain that could burst at any time, but you don't know when it's going to happen. It's a very precarious place to be playing from, and it's really fun to watch Tat work. It makes the character really volatile and great to work off of.
Because it's so small, we can't actually create it on set. There's not a whole lot to look at.
I was talking with the head of props, Jeff Marin at the time, and he, you know, we're like, oh, maybe we can, like, we'll give you our 3D model, we'll do this, you know, really elaborate rapid prototype using multiple materials, and so it'll be exactly accurate. And then we actually looked at it, and we both sort of came to the conclusion at the same production meeting that it looks like a piece of bait that you could buy in any sort of fishing tackle store. So we have a little piece of bait that we've cut to size, and it's the right color, the right consistency, and the right level of translucency.
And then Jeff Scott and the VFX team take that little inanimate piece and morph it into this like wriggling, frightening, deadly little animal.
You know, it's grisly stuff, and that's, you know, that's what television's all about, and that's what this show's all about, is taking stuff to the extreme. And you know, it's ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances, and that's what's really exciting and fun for me. So there's nothing that's too big, there's no reaction that's too big to illustrate exactly the lunacy of what's happening on the screen.
I'm Rachel Duncan. And, oh, there we go. I'm Rachel Duncan, and I've got this weird robot eye. Robot. Is it pronounced robot?
Everybody likes an eye patch, but, you know, we wanted to do more than just an eye patch.
I'm cyborg. She's a cyborg, essentially, now.
As we dug deeper into Neolution, we wanted to discover that it's kind of more than just science. There is a biotech side to what Neolution is doing. And so Rachel's eye was the perfect thing to kind of illustrate that.
The Neolution eye, which we showcased, I guess, or premiered end of season 3, actually had been around since season 1, and it was in the original Leakey lecture. If you actually look closely, he sort of does a gesture which sort of expands out this eyeball design on it.
The ideas definitely came from Leakey's TED Talk in 106. At the time we were doing season 1, we hadn't decided that we were going to blind Rachel. These were kind of things that we were sort of playing off ourselves, expanding the world, and using things that we'd already set in motion, you know, trying to figure out...
The symbol for Neolution, too.
The symbol was always the eye, and so it kind of, you know, it all sort of ended up working together.
As each season goes, they sort of up the level of complexity, and we start on it with a full shot of the eye. So we had to go back, add more detail, more surfacing, more textural quality to it. So our eyeball model has gotten incredibly more complex.
Who's the science now, bitch?
We always knew that we wanted to dig up Dr. Leakey's body. Because why wouldn't you, really?
John Fawcett loves gore, and he wanted Leakey's head on a table.
Oh, I hated it so much. I can't tell you how much I hated it. It is so amazing. It's so real. It's horrible.
Matt Frewer, of course, showed up in episode 1 to shoot with me for a day. And I asked him, you know, before he came out, I said, could you go and do a face cast for me?
We took a life cast of Matt Frewer about a week in, and we started sculpting. So we kind of end up with like a clay version of Matt's head, and then we start sculpting it and taking away clay and getting that decayed look.
I didn't want to dig up a corpse that was just a gooey mess that you couldn't. I wanted to recognize Dr. Leakey, so it was really important. I said to Matt, could you please just do this face cast for me? Because I think it'll be awesome that it actually looks like you.
I hadn't seen it yet. Kristian hadn't seen it yet. We unwrapped it on camera, and I was terrified to unwrap it because it was so gooey. And as we unwrapped it, I was like, I don't want to actually look at this. Like, I had like a moment where I was like, as a human being, I don't want to see this right now. I'm too scared of this head. It was so realistic. It had like It looked like Matt. It was not cool.
The whole thing, the weight, the way the mouth moves, the teeth.
Half of his head is gone, and like he's got like a gunky eye.
And I had this horrible, like, pink, fleshy cyst on it.
And it's covered in slime. So it's like this gray matter slime. I'm lucky because I don't have to touch it. I've gotten like a bit on of it from Tat. I accidentally get it smeared on me when it gets on her jacket, and she touches my hand. And it's like, oh, dude, come on.
So we have our beautiful decomposed Matt Fuhrer, Dr. Leaky. It's made mostly out of silicone, and then we have some acrylic teeth and all real human hair punched in by hand. Our lovely little tumor insert, which is part of the whole scene that Tatiana dissects and removes. These are his vertebrae. He's even got a spinal cord.
She's really busy like making sure it's properly slimed in between. She comes in and puts on a fresh layer of head slime.
We have a product here called Ultra Slime, and this is the stuff that you'll see that is the super, super stringy stuff. This is just more of a kind of gelatinous slime that just gives him that kind of wet, rotted look. So do you want to see me cut a tumor?
And then we had to cut the tumor open.
It's like the Boston cream donut you never want to have. Tat touched it with the scalpel, and it actually just like popped out. Nasty. Like in our stage directions, it says that happens, but we didn't think it was actually going to be that intense.
And there's all kinds of talk about what was going to come out of it, the amount of what would come out of it.
She pierced it, and it just came out where I actually had to kind of put my head back a bit. It was like, oh, is that going to hit us? And then it just kept on oozing out over and over.
Basically, the way we did it was we filled a latex condom with this Ultra Slime product and a bit of these kind of little silicone-y bits, these little fleshy things, so that it has lots of nice texture and is interesting when they cut into it. And so then we make the textured silicone skin, and that goes around the condom, and then we seal it all up, and so when she cuts into it, it all comes oozing out.
I think people have this medium expectation of what they might get, preparing to, say, light it a little bit in shadow, a little more shadow, or maybe a little help from VisFX. But I don't like to rely on that, and I'm expecting bright lights and, you know, no VisFX. It has to look great.
It's funny, when we had the corpse built, I took a picture of the face and emailed it to Matt. He thought that was, he liked that a lot.